Alright, hi there YouTube, it's me Morphsuit America, and in this video I'll be going over some of the news and kind of give you guys a brief sneak peek on what's to come. Now, once the actual events are kicking in and once there's more details about these things, I'll make a future video going over it. And with me stating such a thing, obviously the first image on the screen right now is a Chapter 5.4 Pre-Reg event. Now, most likely it's going to start around the 30th of November. I don't know when the end date is, but yeah. Just, you know, if you plan on coming back to the Korean Dragon Blaze, or if you're still playing the Korean Dragon Blaze, you want to make sure that you pre-reg for this event so you can get your free items. The next image on the screen is the 14-day special attendance event. Obviously, you want to sign in on all 14 days so you can get all this free stuff. And if you kind of miss a day, most likely you're going to miss some of the free stuff that you can obtain. This is also important because this is the 3-week daily GM event. And most likely you want to sign in on these days so you can actually get these free items. And as you can see, it's a lot of items. And most likely it's going to stack because it's going to stack. And then, lastly, the last image talk about the Ruby package readjustment deal, and it's gonna be permanent. No, I don't want to go there yet, Jesus. But yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to the little sneak peek. Just know that when it comes to this, once again, I'll make a video later on when the actual event kicks in. And since I'm talking about this, and since I'm also bringing up the fact that it's a pre-registering event, make sure you pre-reg for the Global Dragon Blaze if you haven't for Chapter 5. Yeah, Global is about to get Chapter 5 over there. And just know that I'm not going to make any videos talking about the updates or the things that's going to kick in for Global because I've already done that. I already made videos, or I kind of covered most of those things when the Korean Dragon Blaze entered the Chapter 5 era. If you want to view the videos talking about the new features and see my first time reaction to Chapter 5, I'll have the links and videos and playlists in the description below. But if you don't want to spoil yourself, you want to go into Chapter 5 brand new and blind, then don't watch those videos because that's going to ruin the magic for you. But anyways, that's it when it comes to this segment. And the next thing I'll talk about is some of the things that kind of caught my attention. Alright, so the article can be found in the description below, or you can find it on the Dragon Blaze Wikipedia. But I'm going to read over this and then give you guys my opinion about this article. So the thing is, apparently there is a link outsourcing to somewhere, and it's pretty much the developer diary about upcoming future features and changes with major update to the 5.4 Hayden's, I think I'm saying their name right, Hayden's Wing. The first part of this post is a general thank you, and we heard your feedback. This is most likely a direct response to the backlash they have received, and by they're referring to the creators and developers of the Dragon Blaze game, over the last month or so that content isn't quality and people are being milked for money. Once again, I'll say my opinions at the very end. Major talking points. Rune system was expanded too hastily. Level 55 to level 69 jump. They will ask the community in the future about content speed release to get a good feel for release speed. They agree that some older content is boring and unrewarding. They look to fix these before or with the 5.4 update. They don't intend to change the current 3-week cycle for new allies. Rather, buff rewards and fix the enhancement resources required. They felt waiting for a month between cycles in-game would become boring and stagnant. Expect increased rewards in all modes in the game. There will be 5 parts to Chapter 5. Now, just to clarify this, when it says 5 parts, most likely they're going to add a new area in the chapter 5 stuff, so it's going to be 5-5. Compared to all the other chapters, like chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4, I think most of them had the 1-4, 2-4, 3-4, and 4-4. So, for chapter 5, we're going to get that red area, but then we're going to get another new region or colored area right after the 5-4 release. Most likely we're going to get a bunch of new overlords because of that as well. Because I feel like we're going to be sticking with 3 sort of groups. Because you know how, well, excluding the Titans, there are 3 groups that we started off when it comes to the deified allies. We had the Bodens, Septenarch Angelus, and Dracos. That's 3. So most likely the overlords might create that sort of same setup. It's going to be 3 different groups. There's going to be the Taryang warriors. Once again, I apologize if I butchered the name. There's going to be the Wings of Haydn, and the last area might be something. It's up in the air. But this is just speculation, and I might be wrong about that. But hey, you know, there's a lot of stuff that we don't know about the future of the Korean Dragon Blades. Anyways, continuing on, the resource cost for Transcended Allies will be readjusted. This is kind of important because Transcended Allies are becoming obsolete and Overlords are going to be the next big thing. It's kind of like the keys. How keys became obsolete when Transcended Allies were the main thing, now Overlords are becoming the main thing and Transcended Allies are becoming obsolete. Now, there's only a few Transcended Allies that are really good still, but that's more towards some of the revamped allies, and then there's the Titan allies, which are still good, aka Selene and maybe Perseus and Helios. They're still up there, but they're not going to stay up there for long because, you know, once we get more overlords, they're going to give us more benefits and we're going to go towards them. Ultimate Overlord is coming. Oh god, shit. I haven't even maxed out 2. I said I was going to save my opinions to the very end, but holy fuck. Okay, so Ultimate Overlord is coming after the next final wave of Haydn allies are released. We will be lacking a... We will be lacking a class? Well, that kind of explains the banner. Now, if you don't remember the banner from the beginning of this video, there's only 6 characters on the screen. So, I feel like they didn't put the warrior overlord in there. Maybe. Unless that boy, the shorta with the giant robot is actually a warrior, but I highly doubt it. So, I don't know. I was wrong about the archer character, or like Shizu, I think her name was, with the blue golem and stuff, so... Ultimate Overlords will come with a readjustment of Overlord resource costs. Okay, so if they're doing that, it better be, you know, it better not be stupidly high. And then Horn Soul Spirit Conversion changed to just using gold, not using another... Why did they do this in the beginning? I was having a little issue with that, because I was like, you're making us... fuck. Once again, I'll say my opinions at the end. Introduction of an expert mission for current users, not new or returning. And then upcoming guild content, Guild Siege. Now there's going to be a large guild event, and there's going to be a 1 guild versus 1 guild event where you seek to capture the other guild's base castle. And then apparently there's going to be a guild tournament, but there's not a lot of details given out. And then, yeah, pre-registering event for 5-4, and then all the login events, the GM login events that you'll receive during these dates. And I already covered that in the first portion of this video. So, pretty much that's it. I'm going to give you guys my opinions when it comes to what has been going on for the Korean Dragon Blades and what I'm looking forward to. Alright, so most likely this will be a rant because my thoughts will be all over the place, and most likely I'll be editing myself and cutting myself here and there if I am on a tangent and just speaking a bunch of fucking nonsense. And if you guys don't like that sort of get up, then bear with me. But anyways, I'm gonna give some tough love to the Korean Dragon Blades because, you know, I haven't really voiced out my concerns, or I have been here and there, but I'm not stern about it, and I just want to make it clear and, you know, just give you guys my thoughts and opinions about it. And if you agree with some of my thoughts and opinions, go ahead and put it in the comments below. But if you don't and you want to do an argument about it, a constructive argument, then go ahead and put it down in the comments as well. But let's get started. Alright, so with the fact that the developers and creators are going to pay attention to the community and get a feel of the release speed, knowing if it's too fast or too slow, that's kind of a good thing. Now, what I'll bitch about when it comes to this, now it's not of late because to me I feel like it's kind of going slow and easy, but depending on your opinions on if you want to speed this up or if you want more content or something, then go ahead and voice it out. But the thing I'll bitch about is the thing that happened way back then when we were transitioning from Transcended Allies to Overlord units. Now, if you don't know what exactly happened, let me give you guys a little synopsis, or like a little laydown on what the fuck happened. So the thing was, when we got the last two Transcended Allies, it was the Demon Lord Krios and the, the Archer Titan Selene. When we got those two Titans, 2 to 3 weeks later, well, no, we got an announcement stating about Second Impact, and it was going to kick in 2 to 3 weeks later once they were released. So depending, actually, I don't remember when exactly we got that notification, but I think it happened a week after we got those two last Titans. So we only got a 2-week ready up for the actual event. With that being said, depending on who or what you are, like a free-to-play or pay-to-win, or if you're heavy on the free-to-play side though, most likely you kind of used up a lot of resources to get these two Titans at Arc status, or maybe one of them at Arc status, and then you hear about these Overlords. And the thing is, at that time, we didn't know much about what the Overlords are going to do and how broken they fucking are. And I don't want to over-exaggerate this, but the Overlords are kind of broken due to the fact that even at base status, they can kick a Transcended Arc ally. Yes, an Arc ally, and just at base as well. Now, there's only a few Transcended Arc allies that can actually go toe-to-toe with a base Overlord depending on what mode you're playing at. But still, once you enhance the Overlord and once you get them a few more levels and get them to max status, they become deadly. So yeah, the thing was, the transition between the new allies that got released and then the Overlords it wasn't enough for the free-to-play to kind of stock up on the resources again. Unless you farm non-stop, and then most likely you were able to hit the deadline. Or most likely, you know, accomplish whatever the fuck you were trying to do. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that it didn't give enough time for the Transcended Allies to get their last light off and, you know, give a couple people a shot with the recent Transcended Allies before, you know, Overlords came out. Because once the Overlords kick in, everyone wants an Overlord now. And then the Transcended Allies just became fodder. It just, you know, became useless, like keys. Like how we are right now in the global Dragon Blades when it's transitioning more towards the Transcended Allies now. And since we're going into Chapter 5, it's going to heavily emphasize on that, and keys will become obsolete. Obviously, global will follow the same format as the Korean Dragon Blades. So even right now, even if we're going to state that, hey, keys are kind of useless, you need to do something about this, it's not going to kick in until the right time and date. So that's going to be a while for global. But anyways, when it comes to the Korean Dragon Blades, Transcended Allies just became, you know, obsolete. They just became fodder. Now, I'm not saying all of them became obsolete. There are a couple Transcended Allies that can still do a really good job, aka Transcended Selene is one of them. So if you were able to arc her, she's still handy. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna bitch about when it comes to the pacing. But after that, it went lackluster and it went really slow. I feel like the hype kind of died off as well, because it was like, hey, we're doing the same thing again, so we're just gonna farm non-stop, yay. And if you don't know the requirements to max out an Overlord, It's 1,950 transcended essences and 160 triple S allies of the same class. Yep, that's a shit ton. And note, it's actually 1,650, but I decided to add the 300 transcended essences because it actually takes 300 transcended essences, a good amount of gold, and then an arc ally to actually make an overlord unit. So yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of resources. And if you already arc, like from that transition from the last two transcended titans to the overlord status to arc a transcended allies, I think it will eat up a good 96 triple S allies. So yeah, you didn't have a lot to work with if you use that much, along with a ton of essences as well. Also, I want to mention this. It does state that they will consider the speeding of the releases. Just know that when it comes to the ally release, I think it's going to be its own separate thing, and they will still release the allies in a 3-week time span. And since they're not going to change that, they're going to make sure that they reduce the cost of the requirements when it comes to making. I don't know if it counts towards making an overlord, but at the very least, they're going to reduce the cost of maxing an overlord and also arcing a transcended ally, because once again, transcended allies are becoming like keys, and the thing is, you most likely you want to get them at arc status and then transform them into an overlord. With that being said, I'm glad that the creators and developers are going to revamp the rewards for all these different modes. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like getting my rubies, but I noticed how it is still the same. Now, depending on your ranking and also your placement and all the other sorts, then obviously you get more rubies because of it. But I bet it's still the same number despite the fact that you're in this position. And it's been the same number ever since you got transcended allies or something of that sort. The numbers are still the same. Now, I'm not asking for a lot of rubies, but a slight increase would be very, very handy because we're having a lot of new mechanics in game, and we have newer allies that demand more resources. It doesn't make sense to have a bunch of new mechanics in game and not increase the number of rewards in game as well. Obviously, there are the pay-to-win players that will spend money regardless of, how much you increase the rewards and stuff, but you had to consider about the free-to-play side as well, because free-to-play players will, they'll always be around and they will stay in the game as long as it's free-to-play. If you make a game currently or heavily on pay-to-win, then people aren't going to play the game. Unless they're easy port saps because you got a lot of fan service and stuff. And I'll talk about that at the end of my little rant video thingy. But yeah, back on topic. What I'm trying to say is that they should revamp it because we have overlords. Taking the numbers into consideration and taking my little math and experiments I did with certain things, especially when it comes to enhancing a main character, we should get a little bit more of these things. For example, when it comes to the daily dungeon for daily dungeon for Wednesday, Ravengale's dungeon, where you actually had to get your enhancement scrolls. As you can see, you can only get 1 C scroll, 2 C scrolls, or 3 C scrolls depending on the difficulty you play it on. Not only that, you can only run this 3 times with the auto run, and then afterwards you're gonna have to pay some rubies to actually redo the dungeon. And depending on what method you decide to do, I'll talk about one of them or the other one. And the first one I'll talk about would be if you don't spend your rubies and just do this every Wednesday sort of dealio, you'll only get 9 C scrolls. Now, that's not a lot. If you decide to spend your rubies and farm this religiously, then at the very, very max you can get as a free-to-play, it will be around 36 C scrolls. I did a video talking about what you need to do and how many scrolls you need to actually get your character from 0 to plus 15. However, I never stated the number of C scrolls you needed in total. The number you needed is 760 C scrolls. Now, because of Chapter 5 being released, and I know for damn sure that I streamed right during the Chapter 5 release in the Korean Dragon Blades, I decided to look at that video and do some math. And yes, with me going in depth with all this shit, most likely it's not a rant anymore, but I'm still gonna call it a rant because I'm still talking away and stuff. But anyways, that video, if I look at it right now, just to make sure, that stream I did was on April 10th, 2017. Now look at the date right now. Or technically, I'll give you guys a vague idea of what date it is right now. November 29th, 2017. It's been roughly around 7, it's going to 8 months ever since Chapter 5 has been released. These rewards are lackluster. It's not helping us as much when it should be giving us a lot more potential. And to get 760 C scrolls, if you're free to play, if you're not going to spend money to get extra C scrolls, or if you're not going to spend rubies to get extra C scrolls, it will take you roughly around 5 to 6 months. Now, I'm not taking account of the GM events that actually gave more or extra C scrolls, but the rough estimation, if you just farm this daily dungeon to get your C scrolls, is roughly around 5 to 6 months. That's long, and it makes sense because it took me a while to get my encounter from 0 to plus 15. I was working on my archer character, but as you can see, she's not at plus 15. Or, well, obviously you can't see that right now, but if you look at my past videos, yeah, I left her at plus 10. In my opinion, they should have actually revamped these rewards when Overlords were released because, you know, more resources are needed. They revamped a lot of the world bosses and a lot of the modes, and you know, it's not right to leave the rewards stagnant and low when we should get a lot more just to go toe to toe with all these changes. Alright, so they mentioned the soul conversion thing, and if you don't know what it is, I already talked about it briefly when I was maxing out my Overlord Aaron, but I'll talk about it again in this video, or kind of give you guys a basic synopsis on what it does, or how it works. But yeah, if you've seen that video and you heard me say I was okay with this system, I wasn't. I was lying. I didn't like this at all. I didn't want to lose 5 souls so I can make 5 other souls just because I didn't have them in the beginning because of fucking RNG. No, I needed a good amount of souls for X, Y, and Z, I mean for other Overlord allies, but you know what? Maxing out an Overlord is pretty great. And you know, you had to prioritize your goals and who you want to max out and who you want to advance, who you want to enhance and stuff. But anyways, how this works is that you have to go over to the third option and then select something that has 5 souls in it. Right now my healer has 5, well technically there's 9 healer souls in my ally storage, but pretty much what you can do with those 5 is that you can trade them off so you can get rid of 5 of them and convert them to a different soul. So if I want to, I can convert them to an archer or a mage or a warrior soul, but here's the catch. You're gonna get rid of 5 of your healer soul plus 1 of whatever soul you're trying to trade it in for. So for example, I have 2 warrior souls. I'm getting rid of 1 of them plus the 5 healer soul so I can make 5 warrior soul. So instead of having 7 warrior souls, you only have 6 warrior souls, so you're trading in 6 souls. Once again, this is handy if you have a bunch of souls you don't need, but to be honest, I feel like you shouldn't sacrifice these souls or trade them in. Now, there are other games out there that actually have this sort of system, and of course it kind of makes sense, but I really don't want to trade in my souls because they're already a bitch to make. And if you don't know how to make these souls, you actually need 5 of the same SSS allies. And the fact that I'm just getting rid of 5 souls just so I can get the other 5 souls is just a pain in the butt too. Well, technically I'm actually getting rid of 6 souls because, like I said, you're getting rid of the 1 soul that you're also converting it into, but yeah, I don't know, it's just painful to watch because you have to deal with RNG, you have to deal with the fact that you sacrifice so many SSS allies to make a soul, then you just, I don't know, it's icky. I feel like you're actually losing a lot of souls than gaining. But then again, it's debatable, but yeah, I didn't like this system. I really didn't. It's like saying, Hey, you know that... Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. I feel like you're not actually losing anything except that one soul, but still, it's... I didn't like the process of this. I really didn't. But once again, if you want to disagree or agree with me, go ahead and put it in the comments below. But I'm kind of glad that they're getting rid of that conversion thing. And I'm kind of salty at the fact that I did a lot of that before I maxed out my Overlord Aaron. But, you know, I couldn't predict the future. I didn't know this was going to happen. So, whatever. Alright, so this last part is just me talking about the things that I kind of want to see and the methods of actually getting maybe me or some other people to spend money for the game. Maybe. Depends. Everyone's completely different on how they want to spend for a game. Obviously, I did contribute some moolah to the Korean Dragon Blaze way back then, but I haven't done anything other than that. But to be perfectly honest, when it comes to any sort of MMORPG game, they will try to fish money out of you. That's a given. But it makes sense because when it comes to an MMORPG in particular, they need that money to provide more content later on, to upgrade the game, to maintain some of the stuff that's going on in-game, and etc, etc. So I understand that they need to do this. What the Korean Dragon Blaze decided to implement is more on the pay-to-win side, because you see that you can buy a lot of stuff when it comes to transcended allies, when it comes to items, when it comes to essences, when it comes to, the rune system, potions, fairies, etc, etc. And obviously, depending on you as a player of this game, you can be free to play, pay to win, or in the middle, doing both. But the thing is, I feel like you should, if you want to take my advice, or if not, then go ahead and toss it out the window, is focus more on the fan service, focus on the customizational features that you can implement, and then also give some lore. The thing is, I played a good amount of MMORPGs that actually grabbed my attention because of the storyline and some of the interpersonal relationships you can have with other characters. Now, I don't know if I'm actually gonna showcase this on the screen, but there is like I said, I've been playing a good amount of video games ever since I stopped playing the Korean Dragon Blaze for a good while. But there's a lot of video games out there that actually have this system where they kind of interact with a character, and then you can also kind of marry them sometimes, or just increase your relationship with them, feel like they're close to you. And if you make your players love the game, then most likely they're gonna spend money for you, and they're gonna love the game till something bad happens, or you stop doing something for the game. But if you want Dragon Blaze to stay on top, you're gonna have to appeal to the masses. You're gonna have to pull out that fan service and also focus more on the customizational parts, because it's an MMORPG. Now, some of you guys may debate about the fact that this is an MMORPG, but technically, you select a character, you are able to customize that character for a bit, you can change the name of the character, and you go through the same journey. I mean, you go through the storyline of Dragon Blaze with that character, so it is an MMORPG. And you are playing with other players as well. That's the MMO part. So, yeah. When it comes to Dragon Blaze, it's lacking in lore. Obviously, you can figure it out if you read some of the character bios, if you pay attention to the storyline and stuff. But there are still a lot of questions that are up in the air. For example, how did all the other Dracos, or how did everyone become transcended? How did most of the how did Blitz, Foxy, Kamel, Falcon come back to life? Why is Ravengale the one giving us the enhancement scrolls? Why isn't it someone like Frederick maybe, who hasn't shown his face as much? Or why isn't it Kamel? And then how did we get transcended? Because we apparently skip from chapter. We didn't take a proper quest or mission where we actually transcend ourselves. We just became a transcended main character. So all these unanswered questions could be filled in, and once again, if you actually make some sort of mission or some sort of lore or some sort of special something that we can do with each of these characters so we can actually feel closer to them, then you know that can expand a lot more on the content of this game, because Dragon Blades can get repetitive and boring. Not to slander you guys or anything, but when it comes to me playing this game, and I think a good amount of people can say the same thing, but when it comes to me playing this game, what I usually do is just leave this game on auto run and just do something else. Now, of course, this game is very handy if you're very busy and if you really don't need to look at the screen and stuff, but to be honest, I like it when a game can grab my attention and make me look at the screen. Now, this depends on you guys and if you really want to improve your game and stuff, but if you really want to grab the people's attention and if you want to spice it up and, you know, make people talk about this game and say how great it is, then you gotta have to step up your game, because all I know is that when it comes to Dragon Blades, it's just doing the same old thing over and over again. If you can prove me wrong and, you know, definitely pull out the big guns and be like, hey, we can do this fucking shit, then go ahead and do it. But yeah, it's just that I really love this game, but once again, you need to spice it up, you need to add more content to it. There's a lot of potential for this sort of stuff, and I can say a good amount of people can say the same shit that I'm saying right now too. So if you want to take my advice, go ahead, but if not, then but please, at the very least, give me some fucking fan service. And that concludes this video. Now, if you decide to stick around and listen to my little spiel, my little speech, my little rant, whatever you want to call it, then I thank you guys. And if you want to add on to what I stated, or you agree or disagree with something, or want to state something that I didn't mention, then put it down in the comments below. But yeah, maybe I'm asking a bit too much when it comes to the lore stuff, because we're already in Chapter 5 and we're in Overlord era. But you know what, you could actually add most of those stuff in the Overlord era, or like just start it with the Overlords and just continue on from there. But yeah, it's all up to you guys. Just a suggestion, because I know that some of the good MMORPGs that have a lot of people playing them have some sort of interaction with the characters. And you know, history and storyline is very handy as well. That's why I actually like Honkai Impact 3 and Gun Girl Z right now, because apparently those two are actually tied to each other, and there's a lot of questions I have, and I kind of want to know the characters a lot more now, especially if I'm gonna get them some bikinis and stuff. Anyways, that sounds a bit creepy. But yeah, once again, I thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys around. Peace!